That's it. Batra Daf Kuf Mem Tet, 16 lines down from Kuf Mem Het Amud Bet. Ibadu asked the question, Hazraba Misat Hazraba Kula or not? The dying person made a gift, then he retracted partial. Or he said, instead of all of it going to Reuven, I want part of it to go to Shimon. Is that a full retraction from Reuven or not? Tashma. Kulam Rishon, if the person said all his possessions go to Reuven, Umitzan Shani said some of it should go to Shimon, Shani Kana, the second guy gets it, Rishon, the first guy does not get it. Where it says, my lab Bishmet seemingly is talking about a case where the guy died, and we still see that the first guy gets nothing and the second guy gets everything. And when it says that, that's not necessarily true because they could talk about a case, B'Shamad talking about a case where the guy survived, and that's why he went to the second guy. Hachanim Stavrna, I can even prove it to you. How? And I'll prove it from the second part of the Mishnah, the Batra. The Mishnah say because Batra ended off. Makes a ton of Rishon if a guy gave some of his possessions to the first person, and then he said, you know what, I want everything to go to number two. Rishon Kanash, when the first guy gets it, the second guy gets nothing. So Iyamar Bishlam that makes like that's obviously it makes sense to talk about a case that where the guy recovered. Mishum Hachish, that's why the second guy got nothing because he was supposed to receive everything. And that's a real death gift, and since he recovered, he got nothing. Eliman Shmeb, talking about a case where he died, both should get stuff. Must be talking about a case where the guy died, where it says, Amar but have nine Shabbat be talking about a case even where he did recover. If you want to tell you that a partial retraction is considered a full retraction, that's why the second guy got something. But if you're talking about a partial retraction is not a full retraction, then it should be similar case compared to a case where the guy is dividing up his property to multiple people, and therefore, well, in that case, if the guy recovered, nobody should get anything. The Gemara says either a partial retraction is a full retraction. Therefore, the first baita where the first Braita part of the Braita, which is where the guy gave all to one and then partial to someone, second one. First guy gets nothing, second guy gets something. It's talking about either where the guy died or he recovered. And Sefer in the second case where the gave partial to one and then the rest to some and then everything to number two, then this number two guy gets nothing because he recovered. Ibal, who they asked the question. Hekdish kon nechasav, someone made all his possessions hekdesh. V'amad, and he recovered. Now, what's al Does that go through or not? Yamin lakol, the guy that come back. Maybe since he was giving me hekdesh, he wanted hekdesh to keep it, and therefore, even if he recovers, he doesn't get it back. Or maybe even he looked like himself. He would have gifted it to someone else. It would have came back to him if he recovered. Next question. What if he said all my possessions should be hefker because he's dying? Then he recovered. Maybe maybe say since the poor people have much right to take it like the rich people, and therefore we should see like like he did a chesed, and therefore he wanted it, Gamar Makni, he wanted to pass it over. Or maybe since it would have been a gift to someone else, it wouldn't have gone through. What if he gave all possessions to the poor? Is that considered, does not come back if he recovers? Maybe say that since charity, he would want it to go through. Maybe since he needs his own interest involved, and if he recovers, he wants it back. Take it. In a different version, same thing. All three same questions, same thing. What's the halacha? Take it. You told someone dying says, Reuven should take my possessions. V'yizkeh, a person should be assume ownership. V'yahzik, he should take possession. V'yikneh, or he should acquire them. Kul neshama tanah, there's all languages of a gift, and they will all be a good enough transfer over property for a dying person. I think the Tana in the Braita says, Af yahsirin v'yirad kir'u. Even the words yahasin or yirat is a good enough declaration to pass over to the next person. That's according to Rabbi Yochanan that says, as long as it's a person who is in the in line to inherit. Ibao asks another question. Yehene behen, mahu. What if the guy says, I want so and so to benefit from my property? Did I have a kulu b'atana kamar? Is that saying that he wants all possessions to be a gift? Or did the kamar means he just benefit some of it? Yera ebehen mahu. I want so and so to be seen in my property. Ya'amo behen mahu. I want him to be standing in my property. Isha'in behen mahu. I want him to be relying on my property. Is that a ownership? Is that a transfer of ownership like a gift or not? Teku. By the way, another question. What if he sold all his possessions? Then he comes back to life. Then he heals. Does the sale go through or not? He said both. That if he recovers, he will retract, and if he recovers, he does not retract. How does that make sense? First case is where he cannot retract. He cannot retract. Yeah. It The case that he can retract is if he still has the cash, and the case where he can't retract is if he paid debts with the cash. By the way, what if the dying person admits that the property does not belong to him? Is that a good enough way to transfer over property to someone else? The Gemara says, "Tashma de Isar Gira Havid Letzeza Alfez Zuzeh Berav." Isur, the convert, had 12,000 zuz by Rav. Rav was watching him, and he was dying. Rav Mari Bereh, Rav Mari was his son. He was conceived before his father converted, and therefore he was born into Judaism, but he was conceived while his father was not Jewish, and therefore technically he's not related to his dad. Rav Hava, and he was learning in Rav's yeshiva. Rabbi said, let me think about this. Rav Mari cannot acquire these coins instead of me. Because why? If he wants him to acquire through inheritance, he can't. He can't inherit it because he's not a son. Even not considered a son. If he wanted to do as a gift, Hachami made the gift of a dying person like a gift and like an inheritance. Only a person who can be part of inheritance can be passed a gift. Only person who could do inheritance can have a gift, and over here he's not considered inheritance because he doesn't have any relatives. Therefore, he can't give it. Even Mishkichav, if he wants to take it, he can't do it. It's not in Rabari's property. It's in my property. Even Halipin, if you want to take it through Halipin, in Matbeya, Halipin, you can't acquire coins of Halipin. If you want to acquire it through a land, a transfer of land like you could do, we said earlier. Problem is, he doesn't have any land to do it on. Even Machmashlan, if he wants to transfer it through a three-way transfer, problem is, I don't want to be part of it. I won't be part of it, and therefore he can't get it. The Gemara says, Makif ladar ika amai. What do you mean? Simple. Let the guy who's dying, Isur, say that the coins belong to Ramari, then he'll acquire it. Isur, then sure enough, Isur said, oh, it belongs to my son Ramari. Rava got upset. People are listening to my discussions, and they caused me to lose, and it was a good transfer property. So we see that if a dying person says that the thing that he owns belongs to someone else, it automatically transfers over.